Let's talk about the SME IPO space. And today we're going to be putting the spotlight on Aten papers and foam. What are the key concerns for this IPO? Should you be subscribing to it or not? Sharad is here with all the details. Sharad?
Well, interestingly, we are starting this new series on this SME IPO, and of course, this is an investigative angle to it, but we'll be highlighting the concerns as well as what are the risks involved in these
I
IPOs.
think before that, we should also talk about what's really going on in the SME market, right?
Yes.
The way the IPOs are getting the subscriptions, I don't think investors are even analyzing the pros and cons
Not
before
at all.
actually subscribing
Exactly.
to these
So the
shows.
numbers are subscription numbers are very high.
Yeah.
But the amount of due diligence which is happening is very less.
Yeah.
And that is something which we need to point out. And of course, the research team is working really hard at that. But let's just look at the stock, which is be in focus, or the company. And of course, the coverage is for Aten Papers and Foam. The merchant banker is Swastika Investmart. And the company itself is an intermediary in the product space for the overall paper industry. They generally procure the paper from the different paper mills and they resell them to clients in the packaging industry. Now, we did an analysis just from the RHP itself, and we did speak with some industry experts. And of course, there are certain concerns arising with this company. First one is overall the company is operating in a cyclical industry, which is the paper segment. Now, also the global kraft paper prices, these pulp prices are on a downward trend, roughly 7 to 10% down on a year-on-year basis. And interestingly, the volatility is very high when it comes to the raw material cost in the paper segments in which the company operates. Also, we did see a large number of related party transactions happening, especially with the group promoter companies all having the same companies in different line of businesses as well. Now, interestingly, the application for trademark that has also been rejected. So, of course, some concerns are there when we are analyzing the RHP, and of course, the company is itself in a trading setup and not having a larger moat and lesser margin profile as well, especially for a cyclical industry like the paper segment.
All right, so that's about Aten Papers and Foam. What are the key concerns with respect to this SME IPO? Sharad just highlighted all of that for us. But with this, let's also move on and let's welcome on board Sharan Lilani, who is the independent SEBI research analyst on the show. Sharan, another company in the paper industry, and that is coming in as an IPO in SME segment. Could you give us some more details about this Aten Paper and Foam? How do you analyze the company and what are the key details that you have looked for?
So good morning, everyone. Like ma'am was saying about previous IPOs, nobody is doing their due diligence. So since the last couple of months, I've been aggressively following up these SME IPOs. And one thing is in common, just before the IPO, everything changes. Their revenues go 5x, their margins go from 1% to 15% out of nowhere. And you have no changes in their cash flow or operating efficiency. Even this is similar case for this. Again, a highly commoditized industry. And that too, this Athens paper is a trader and not a manufacturer. It sources the materials and then sells it ahead. Again, the revenue has gone up 45% year on year from FY24 to FY25. And at the same time, if you see the balance sheet, the receivables have gone down and not increased. So that's a very big red flag. Again, if you talk about the raw material, the cycle is very volatile. And it is not something that you can, over a long period of time, sustain with such high EBITDA margins of 11%, 12%. And that too for a trader. Even their debt levels at the current moment are around 2x. That is very high for a trader. And the whole IPO procedure is just to raise money for working capital, that is to fuel credits and increase their credit and increase their sales, not for operational efficiency or to create some kind of sustainable competitive advantage. So the company doesn't have any advantage over a long period of time. Me, you, or anyone in the industry can start a trading business and compete with this paper. So I would suggest investors, especially in the IPO, SME space, please understand the risk. It is a very high risk, high return kind of investment. You can go years without seeing any kind of upside and years of underperformance. So please be very careful on that front. I would give a avoid rating for this IPO. And even if you see with the peers such as JK Papers, West Coast Paper, they have a turnover of 5,300 to 3,500 crores. They are trading at 10 to 12 times. So you will never see any kind of a high PE for this company also. It will trade around 8 to 10 PE in the coming future, and that too it is very high risk because anyone can come and get up and start this business. So over a long period, no sustainable competitive advantage, no more. It is a clear avoid.
Sure. So there's a clear avoid coming in from Sharan for Aten Paper and Foam. Thank you, Sharan, for joining us.